You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 380 for Sunday, the 3rd of October 2021.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chumsky, Jayne Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hey up there, Jayne.
Hey up there, Michelle. Are we going all northern now, are we? Hey up
Yeah,
middle.
why not? It's our USP, you could say, that makes us stand above all the rest. We are the two lovely Northern England girls that love a bit of Disney. Anyway, lovely, I have got some history this week.
Oh, okay.
I wonder what happened this year, 50 years ago.
Oh, let me have a think. Nothing major, I don't think.
Yeah.
No.
Well, 1st of October, 1971, this Magic Kingdom opened.
Hey.
And if I do my maths correctly, I would have been a mere cherub of 4 months on that joyous occasion.
And I would have been, she says, very quickly counting, 3 3/4
Oh,
years.
older than me.
Yeah, 3 3/4 years. I will quantify that, yeah.
But actually, on today's date, the 3rd of October, Peter Pan's flight opened. Because not everything opened up on the first day.
Of course not, yes. It would have to be kind of staged, I suppose, a little bit, wouldn't it?
And something close to your heart, Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas came out on video cassette and DVD on this day, 2000.
Video cassette, do you remember those? Crikey.
Oh, back in the day. Buena Vista Home Video Entertainment.
I can hear the music now in my head.
I can see the castle with the blue background.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, good film though. Love that film.
On the 4th of October 1929, Disney completed the Silly Symphony Springtime. Bit of a weird time to complete it is October when it's not really spring.
I'm going to say, shouldn't it have been autumn vibes or something?
Yeah, but maybe they may have finished it, but it didn't get published till later on in the year.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll let them off.
Also a sad day on the 4th of October 2009 because Disney ceased selling, that took some doing, Disney dollars.
Oh, I never had any Disney dollars.
No, I've got one Disney dollar. I'm quite chuffed to have that. I didn't buy it myself in the parks, but I was gifted it.
Yeah, I remember them being around and kind of thinking, what's the point? You know, so yeah, and of course, you can't foresee when they're in circulation that they'll ever go out of circulation. So it's that element of not having the foresight to buy something to then keep it as a memento and what have you.
Yeah. And as we're sort of talking about history, let's talk about history that has yet to be made.
Okay.
And the Guardians of the Galaxy's Cosmic Rewind is being confirmed it's going to open in 2022.
Oh, I'd missed that one because obviously I suppose we were all hoping that it would have been open to coincide with the 50th celebration. So at least it's going to get to open in the year of the 50th or the 18 months of the 50th celebration.
Yeah, and obviously Epcot, it's his 40th.
Of course, yes. Oh, so that works out quite nice then, doesn't it, in that respect?
I'm keeping everything crossed that it is going to be during the summer of 2022 because it would be really nice if I could see that and the Tron coaster all in the same trip.
Yeah, it would be an appropriate time because obviously busy time of the year, so it would seem appropriate. But obviously, as we know, these things sometimes can get jiggled about a bit depending on how the construction actually goes.
And we will wait and see what happens with that, my lovely. But we cannot do a podcast this week without talking about the elephant in the room. And we are not talking about my weight gain because of overeating of cake. We are talking about Farewell, Happily Ever After.
Yeah, and I never got to see it.
Well, baby girl, you're going to have to watch it several billion times on YouTube, because I was talking to the lovely Anthony Markham about this, and I will put on his little chat we had about his quick visit over to Walt Disney World the other week.
Mm-hmm.
When I first watched it, it was a bit like a fungus, because it grew on me. I didn't like it at first, I'll be honest.
Okay.
But the more I watched it, the more I enjoyed it, and the love for it grew and grew and grew. So I'm quite sad it's going away. I'm even more sadder that you never got to see it.
Yeah, well, Wishes holds a big part of my heart, so I have that to hold on to. So perhaps having never seen it, I'm never going to miss it. So therefore, perhaps maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I can just move on to the next installment.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I don't know. But it is sad, when things change, because I think as Disney fans, we always kind of like to be there and to experience all the changes and as new things come along, and we lament the old things that pass and have to be closed or whatever or changed. But I think we like to be able to experience all the new stuff. So it is kind of, I can, because it's such a while since I've been to Disney World. We're only chatting about this in the family last night, that there is those things. Oh, we've not done, and we've not done. And I think it's dangerous to kind of hold on to that too much. You kind of have to go, well, okay, then we haven't got to do that. But when we do get to go, think of all the cool things that we can get to do. So when we do get there eventually, it will kind of almost be like revisiting it for the first time, because so much will have changed for me that it is going to be like a whole new experience.
Absolutely. And then this morning when I woke up sleepy-eyed, I was bedazzled by Big Fat Panda's video recording over on that YouTube of Harmonious.
Yes, because we've had the last performances, haven't we now?
So I thought, I'll put that on and have a little look at that to see what this sort of like Stargate sort of arc in World Showcase Lagoon, what happens to it on a night when it all gets lit up, and oh my word, amazing.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realise there were, because I'd sort of blocked off the news about what we were going to be getting, but it seems to be a smorgasbord of different Disney songs put into a meaning and a package, and I think it still sort of follows the same ethos of Illuminations,
right,
and takes it forward in its journey. I did get very confused at one point because some of the songs kept on changing languages, and I didn't know whether it was me hallucinating because I was still half asleep.
Because it's a little bit early in the morning.
Yeah.
I will confess I've not seen anything as yet, so I wasn't going to wake up at silly o'clock to catch these. I will endeavour to catch them at some point. I am curious as to see those barges, because I know there's been quite a lot of
argy-bargy.
I was going to say negativity. I didn't like to use the word negativity, but obviously these barges are sat out on the lake during the day, and I know people have commented about, well, they spoil the view of insert name of wherever you're looking. So it will be I am curious to see how they're going to present them during the day, and then the knock-on effect on the evening's performance, and see how expansive it is. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I will have to make the time somewhere and find some YouTube channel to watch said fireworks on.
That's as best as we can get.
For the time being.
For the moment. Right, well, let's hear what Anthony had to say about his lightning trips, in the plural, down to Walt Disney World.
Where dreams begin.
Well, hello and welcome to this superstar little segment with our fantastic holiday travelling Orlando-bound buddy, Anthony Markham. Hello there, Anthony.
Good morning, my dear. How are you today?
I am all the better for speaking for my lovely from all the way in North Carolina. How is it up there today?
Oh, it's finally starting to feel like fall. I'm going to put on some long sleeves and do some house cleaning and set out my Halloween decorations later.
Oh, bless you, gorgeous. We are going to talk a little bit of Disney with a sprinkling of goodness thrown in for good measure, because Anthony renewed his annual pass, as he told us on his last appearance, and he's had a couple of trips down to the world, and I thought, who better to talk about some of the new things, the groovy things, and the Disney things than Anthony. So tell us a little bit about what you've been up to, starting with your accommodation.
I've actually been twice within the past few weeks. First weekend of September, a coworker and I went down for an extended holiday weekend, and we stayed at All Star Movies.
Yay!
And we had a wonderful, albeit brief, trip. Except the heat. Ugh. Yeah, you gotta hate summers in Orlando.
Well, as someone who can only go really for any period of time to Orlando in the summer, I just grin and bear it.
Yes. We made it a point to see the Beauty and the Beast stage show. That was had returned. Yes. Although the socially distanced love scenes are quite amusing when you think about it.
Oh, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. Come on, tell me about this, because I've heard, but I've not seen.
Probably the closest the actors actually get to one another are about 3 feet. So when Beast is, he's collapsed dead, and Belle's, all upset and crying, and she's supposed to be there beside him, telling him to come back, I love you, but yet she's 6 feet away. It's like,
Don't tell me there's a perspex screen between her and the Beast. They're both wearing full high-vis equipment, and oh my word.
It's like, I appreciate, the gesture, Disney, you're making the public display of, we're keeping everyone safe, but also we realize you're testing employees, and employees now have to be vaccinated. Let's just drop it, and they're on stage. It's fine.
It's now become the teacher's equivalent of a blue paper towel on a cut on the knee, hasn't it? Just cover them with antibacterial gel. They'll be right.
Exactly. But still, it was nice to see, any bit of live entertainment. That's what makes Disney Disney, Otherwise, it's just a theme park with rides.
True.
We got to see the Frozen show. That was not going when she and I were there in December. We got to see, I'm going to say Eat to the Beat, but I have a feeling that's not right. But the concert series that's part of Food and Wine.
Yeah.
That had returned. So that was nice to enjoy some Latin music that evening. And most importantly for me, happily ever after.
But it's glowing away.
Don't get me started. Yes, I know. That first trip, we had rain both evenings. So Tinkerbell only flew one of the 2 evenings that we saw it, but it was still magical. But then again, I just went last weekend too on a solo trip by myself, and I got to see it twice. It really did hit me that it was the last time I was seeing it, and lots of ugly tears were shed by me.
Oh, baby, it's so sad. But at least you had the pleasure of being able to see it all those times. Think about us poor Brits who can't get over there till at least November, and there's no chance.
I know. I will be missing it. I will be thinking of it fondly Tuesday as it shows for the last time.
Oh.
But we'll have to just see. We may feel the same way. It may take the new Enchantment show a bit to grow on us, but we may come to love it just as much.
Do you know what? It could be bigger, it could be better, it could be more sensational. And thanks to the internet, you can always have a happily ever after moment.
Indeed. Yes. Then I went on a second trip last weekend. This was a solo one. I got to see something new before the general public could.
Okay. Just let's just calm for a moment.
Okay.
This is the new, the much anticipated, the much hyped, and been ready for months attraction over at Epcot. So you got in because of an annual pass preview, yes?
Correct. So this is my second year being an annual pass holder. This is the first time I've been able to do one of these early previews. Because let's face it, nothing much else has opened, right? Right. But they sent out the email, and I pounced on it immediately. And I had already had a weekend trip planned, and I was fortuitous enough to schedule a reservation. My window was between 12 and 1, but the park itself opened at 11 that day. I just kind of thought, why not try and go early? So I did. Previews are almost over. I would tell the listeners to try it themselves, try to go a little early, and maybe you can get in. But I think they're probably already concluded, but I got in about 11:30, and I had ridden Remy twice by 12:05.
How come you got to go it twice? Because I've seen on a fair few people who've been able to go for these previews that they've been able to do it twice. Was it allowed for everyone? Because in case you missed bits?
Yes, you were allowed to ride it as much as you really wanted to. And I didn't, once you were back in that area, they weren't really checking your time. That you had a email confirmation that let you in. But it's not like they were asking to see it again later to be like, okay, you need to leave. To be honest, I don't know that I could have ridden it that many more times.
Now, this is where the controversy is going to start. Now,
Yes.
Jayne and I have ridden the Incarnation in Disneyland Paris, and I think, apart from the restaurant, where you come off the ride at the end and you get to see in, everything inside the attraction is a carbon copy. It's a clone, correct?
That's what I understand as well.
Okay. So it's a trackless ride system
Trackless ride system.
based on the film of the rat. So it's quite appropriate in the House of Mouse.
Yes, indeed. Adorable little mouse-sized cars that you're riding in.
Oh.
And nice 4D technology. Lots of screens, pumping in smells, and it's a very smooth system. Like, I'm going to draw some comparisons to Runaway Railway just because that's another current trackless ride system.
Okay, you compare, honey.
But the story is just so... I'm not trying to be ugly, but it's simple. Mickey and Minnie, there's 2 or 3 different storylines going on that ride. So I feel like... And the environment is so busy. There's so much to look at. Ratatouille is just kind of a simple one storyline. Don't get me wrong. The screens are nice. Everything looks beautiful. The smells of the bread in the restaurant and the nice little heat effect that you get when the gas burners start to come on the stove.
Oh, that's so good.
It's quite immersive. And the bit when the I guess they're mopping the floor in the kitchen of the restaurant and you get splashed, that's fun. Some of those elements aren't present in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I just think for re-rideability, it's a once a trip for me. It's fun. Epcot needs more attractions. I'm not going to say skip it, but it's not going to be worth back at an 85-minute wait like you would see for Slinky Dog Dash. The restaurant, though, delicious. It's called the Creperie of Paris. I went there with the remainder of my allotted time and actually spent about an hour in that little restaurant. It was delicious. They currently are doing sweet and savory crepes. I know you ladies discussed it a few weeks back on the podcast.
We did after we spoke.
Yes. And I opted for the prefix menu. So I got a salad to start, a savory crepe, and then a sweet crepe, plus a cider. Very good value for $33.
Was it alcoholic cider, or was it what you Americans have that you also call cider, which is just basically posh apple juice?
There was alcohol in it.
Okay.
According to my waiter, Aline, it was the traditional French style of cider. So it was alcoholic, and I had a dry variety. It was delicious. And then over the course of the rest of my meal, I had a couple of French martinis. Also would recommend that. That's not part of the prefix menu, but they are delicious.
Oh, you can't beat a good bit of alcafrol.
That's right. About 2:30, I had experienced my ride twice, had my lovely meal, and then meandered throughout Epcot for the rest of the day.
Okay. I feel like maybe your expectations for this attraction were pitched so high, because I know we've spoken about it so many times when we were planning our Disneyland Paris trip, thanks COVID, about how much I really love the attraction. The fact that you are really immersed into the world and you do feel like you've shrunk down to the size of a rat and you're travelling in your little ratmobile and it's you know, every time you go on it, you can have a slightly different journey because of the way the cars move, or where you could be sat in the vehicle because there are 6 seats, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right that everybody who is there is having the same story, and it's the same story every time. But I just feel it is a stepping stone to the next level, which was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, because this attraction technology is quite old now in comparison to Mickey and Minnie's, and it's the fact that they've taken a carbon copy of something that was in a park from a number of years ago and not really updated it with new things. Am I right?
Correct. It is unfortunate that it did arrive so much later. As I said, it's still something that Epcot needed. Theming, it fits so wonderfully back in the France Pavilion. It feels like it's been there forever. It doesn't stick out like new construction. So I will give them that. It's something it's a very family friendly thing, which, you know, you're not going to get your 3 and 4 year olds on Mission Space or Test Track.
True, and let's be honest. How many rat plushes are they going to sell now because of that attraction? It's going to be a massive money spinner.
Exactly. Have you seen the adorable little French toques with a Remy inside of it that lights up?
I have. They didn't have them in France, because I remember going to DLP and you wanted a little rat plush, and I recall getting you one of those, but I never saw that. I never saw the chef's hat that sort of lit up and illuminated like those do, so they're quite cute. And I gather there's some little remote controlled car type thing.
Yes, I saw a couple of those, but I think the French toques are the big seller. I saw them throughout the park the rest of the day.
They're unique though. There's nothing else in Walt Disney World you could get like that. And I think that's what makes a good piece of merchandise, is something that is unique, that is fun, and is highly linked to a particular area.
Agree.
Okay, so let's just think about your eatery experience. Not expensive ingredients really to make a crepe, is it? It's French flour, bit of water, bit of egg. It's a pancake basically, isn't it?
Indeed.
But pleasant experience, nice break, nice environment.
Excellent service, knowledgeable wait staff, and for me, for that day, it was nice to just have a break. Yeah.
And it's another restaurant that's open in France, which would mean if all the French restaurants open, they would have 3 sit-down restaurants, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would. Then when you factor in the walk-up, wow.
Yeah, because they've got ice creams, they've got patisserie, they've got the little place outside that does the champagne.
Right.
They've got the walk-up crepe place.
Yes, the window to the side of the new restaurant, correct.
So that's a lot of eating, one little pavilion, isn't it?
Well, I guess the French are known for their food, yes?
True, and they have all the perfumery, their shop, etc. So it's getting to be quite a very full pavilion. I'd imagine now it's challenging China on square footage.
Probably.
Because China and Japan are huge.
Japan needs an attraction, in my opinion, but...
What else did you manage to squeeze in on this trip that is worthy of a mention?
I skipped out on Disney Springs this trip. The time before, though, with my coworker Caitlin, we went twice, and we went to Gideon's twice. And the second time, I brought a thermos, and I got 2 peanut butter cold brews and filled up my thermos.
I love that thinking, buddy. Okay, fantastic. You are making me, as we speak, want to go to Starbucks, because in the UK they have brought out a churro cinnamon frappuccino.
Ooh.
Now, I had a little taste of this. I gather it's not available in the US, but I will leave that for you to investigate for me today. But I had a sip of one last week, and it was particularly decadently delicious.
I am intrigued. I'll have to work on that.
Investigation as we speak. Anthony's on the old dirt googlage, because we both love a good beverage from Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
As always, we love hearing from you, especially when you give such good tips and share the treats of your holiday trips. So thank you ever so much for joining us this week. Until next time, it's a big fat goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me.
Where dreams begin.
If you wanted to hear more from Anthony, he also went on and visited Universal, and he talks at length a little bit about that. The entire chat I had with him, I have published over on our Patreon channel, patreon.com/Disney Dreamgirls. And if you want to hear more, find it there. So, Jayne, we mentioned basically at the beginning of the show, 50 this year, Magic Kingdom, ding dang do.
Yeah, it's all very exciting, isn't it? I mean, everything you're seeing coming out at the moment, we were just talking about, what's in the news at the moment? Well, everything is 50th anniversary, isn't it?
Yeah. I must admit, for me, I'm a little bit subdued because the plans were, as yours would have been as well, to get over there in the summer this year and be able to partake, see some of the merchandise, buy some of the merchandise, see some of the theme park decorations, and sort of get really into the sort of like, cupcake with a 50th symbol on top, yay! But because you're not going to be able to do it till maybe, 2022 now,
yeah,
there is that sort of subdued feeling. But then we all know Disney likes a good celebration. It'll be probably running till the beginning of 2023, really, let's be honest.
Yeah, I must admit, it is that, without wanting to bring everything down, the whole doom and gloom thing. But yeah, I mean, I think we're all fingers crossed that, we can get out during 2022. Not quite sure what our plans are as yet. It may be 22, it may be 23. I'm not 100% sure. So from my personal viewpoint, if they do prolong the celebration, because I think we've had it in the past, haven't we, where most of the anniversaries tend to have gone on for around about the 15, 18 months type of time span. Just, I think, out of the courtesy to allow people to get out there and experience it all. So it would be in my interest if it went on a little bit longer. I mean, it's fun to watch everything coming through and to see all the merchandise. And I'm really intrigued by the vault that's opened up on Main Street, because it's all old school styly merchandise, which is, I kind of like that retro vibe. So I just hope that there's enough of this merchandise to last however long these celebrations do actually run for, because there'd be nothing worse than getting out there in, I don't know, month 11 of the celebrations and find lots of empty shelves and no merch to be bought.
I can see Disney doing waves of merchandise, and maybe through the celebration new things will come online. That's what I'm envisaging. And I must admit, I do feel quite blessed that a few people have got trips there at the moment, and they've sort of reached out and said, do you want this? Would you like this? I found this. Would you like me to get you it? Is there anything that you like? And I am very, very grateful for people doing that. And I suppose the pair of us will quite happily send people, the item cost and postage to get those things over to us and share some little bit of giddiness with everybody else who is wanting some 50th merch.
Yeah, well, I think, I'm quite liking some of the retro stuff. I quite like some of the retro styling that's going on. I like the fact that in their little iconography, they're paying homage to things like Mistletoe's Wild Ride. They're recognising those things that were there back in, the early 70s, and recognising their importance to the Magic Kingdom particularly, really, because obviously it is the 50th of the Magic Kingdom, really is what we're talking about. And the fact that, it's just that saying, this went now. It may not be here, but we recognise that these attractions mean an awful lot to an awful lot of people, and let's celebrate those. So I'm really enjoying seeing all that old school stuff having its little place at the moment. Plus, as well, the likes of Starbucks, which I know you've seen all the Starbucks pins. I think they're really cute. I love the styling on those. And all the new cups and things that have come out for Starbucks. I'm thinking, yes, I know what's on Michelle's little list of things to get. That's a no-brainer. So I think it's really nice.
Those Starbucks pins are a bit weird though, Jayne.
Do you?
Well, it's the Magic Kingdom that's 50. And they've done the other parks with the 50th celebration. So to me, Animal Kingdom at 50, they shouldn't be putting that out for eons.
No, this is
Epcot's
very
40
true.
next year.
Yeah.
That bit just didn't work for me. So I have acquired, via someone who's lovely and wonderful, and I'll mention it later, a 50th Starbucks Magic Kingdom pin. And I'm happy with that. I don't want the rest because, to me, I don't need the rest.
Yeah, it is a peculiar one, isn't it? Because everybody, you know, talks about Walt Disney World as an all-encompassing thing, which it is. But you are right, Michelle. It's actually the 50th anniversary of the Magic Kingdom opening its doors. You know, it's not when Epcot opened. It's not when MGM Studios, you know, first came on the block and Animal Kingdom. So, yeah, it's a peculiar one. Is where do you draw the line? Because obviously, like with the statues that they've not put them just at the Magic Kingdom. They are around all of the parks. And I suppose, is it because people in general, rather than us Disney nerdy fans, don't fully appreciate the complexities of Walt Disney World and the history that goes along with it, perhaps? I don't know.
Well, don't get me started, love, on the whole Disneyland Florida malarkey. Because if I hear that again, I might go, ah. Anyway,
I know. Yeah.
I was just wondering, how would you celebrate? Now, I know I've got some lovely fans. I know I've got some lovely friends that are over there at the moment who are wanting to be in the park on the big day. I've got some friends who've seen the crowds building and building, thinking, nah, how am I going to not be in the park on the day? What could I do instead? What would you? Would you be going with the crowds? Would you just be happy to be in Walt Disney World? What do you think?
As much as I would love to be in the Magic Kingdom on October the 1st, I am quite a realist that might not work out because of expected crowd volume. I mean, I'm not quite sure what their operating capacity is working at the moment as well. That's got to be factored into it, all things considered. I would go in with a very pragmatic attitude of, if I get into Magic Kingdom, fantastic. But if not, providing I'm there within the world somewhere, I would be happy. I think that's how I would have to view it. Because otherwise, you're going to go in very disappointed if you weren't lucky enough to be able to get through those turnstiles. I've not seen, I don't know if you've seen it. I'm not sure if there's any protocol that's been announced or anything. Are we going to treat it like a Christmas day or something like that? Is it? I don't know how it's going to operate.
I don't know.
Be interesting to see.
For me, I think I would like to do a little bit of a challenge. I like a good challenge, and I've done 4 parks in one day with some very strict rules. I think it'd be fun because I wouldn't probably want to go on attractions and things like that. I'd just probably do my own DIY scavenger hunt and think, what 50 things can I do in the Magic Kingdom that don't actually involve going on an attraction? There may be a lot of eating going on here, Jayne.
I was just going to say, if we're going to give you strict rules though, Michelle, do we have to put a cap on the amount of food and drink beverages?
No, I don't need to cap it.
The amount of speciality 50th anniversary food, drinks and cupcakes and goodness knows what else that seems to be out there, I think you could do 50 quite easily.
Oh gosh, yeah. You know, if I got a portion of fries, there must be 50 fries in a portion.
Well, at the very least, isn't everything now coming in, you know, the little containers and bags and cups and everything will be all 50th merchandised up, won't it, with logos and stuff? So therefore, every bit of food that you have could be counted as a special 50th.
Could well be. Just go around sprinkling pixie dust on everything for other people as well, and doing 50 acts of random kindness in the park, where I might just go buy people a cupcake or a coffee without actually physically touching the cupcake, because remember, it's COVID and people might not want to take a cupcake off my hand.
Off a complete stranger.
Yeah. Can't go around delivering hugs either because, again, COVID. But I could sort of say, can I buy a coffee on, or tip the barista or something like that, that just does something nice to spread a little bit of pixie dust and cheer in the theme parks, because let's be honest, it's been a pretty rough few months, and I think the more joy we can spread to each other rather than angry ferociousness, the better.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Michelle, and I think it's a case of if you are fortunate enough to get into the parks, I'm a bit like you. I don't think my focus would be the attractions because there's other days to do that. I think my focus would be to soak up the ambience and just be thankful to be there. And I'm sure there'll be lots of little things happening and shows and announcements and goodness knows what else. So I'm sure it would be a particularly special day to be in the parks and just to be able to come away and go, I was in the park on, I think would be enough for me personally.
Exactly. Right, my lovely, I think it's time to put a big old pin in this week's show and we will disappear off and do some more worky work stuff, dreaming of Disney, talking about Disney, thinking about Disney, and possibly maybe even booking a trip. We shall see. But until next time, you know where you can find us at Diz Dream Girls on Instagram and Twitter. You'll find our website with our show notes, disneydreamgirls.com, our Patreon page, patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. But until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.